Another model from the collection sold. This is a professionally built Mustang funny car. Very finely detailed. Got the spark plug wires in there. See the battery in the back, little parachute, the wheelie bars underneath. Very nicely done, and this sold for $140. I found this in a free box last fall at a garage sale, and finally got around to putting it up. I knew it was a quiver for a compound bow, most probably, and it's a Fredbear signature line, sort of a camo type. I'm sure it's got some sort of proprietary attachment. So when I looked it up, I saw a couple that had sold for about $14, $15. I priced this at $20, and it just took a couple days to sell. This backpack is an item I picked up over the summer where I overbuy at garage sales just to have things to list in the winter when it's cold out and nobody's having any garage sales. It's a North Face Recon backpack. Good shape. Got it for a couple dollars. And it sold for $60. And it only took about 2 days. This is a metal Corvette sign celebrating 25 years of the Corvette. I acquired about half a dozen of these in an auction box lot. Don't have any money into them. And they've been slowly selling. I've sold a couple of them so far, just for $10. Another box lot item from the auction. This is a brass candlestick holder with a frosted glass shade on it. And this sold for $30. This is a vintage soldering iron. It's an American Beauty brand. Very large. And it came with this holder. Got a fabric covered cord. And this was at the auction, and I actually considered bidding on it, but then got involved at another part of the auction, and it went by. And then a little bit later, on the wagon where you put items that you acquire and you don't want, this was sitting there. So I picked it up right away and listed it about a month or probably 2 months ago. And it finally sold for $60. This is a vintage stereo stand with slots for records. I've sold a number of these in the past, get pretty good money for them, but I haven't found them lately. But I found this one last week at a huge junk antique store. Just unbelievable piles of stuff you had to crawl through. You couldn't even get through places to see everything. But as usual, I kind of staged it with some stereo equipment for some pictures. And it sold after 1 week for $90. This is a copy of the assembly manual for this Allied Knight Ocean Hopper kit. And it's just a copy. Nicely done, bound. And this sold for $20. Another auction lot extra in a box. This is a McCoy ribbed pink mixing bowl, oven proof. And this sold for $20. Another owner's manual. Remember when I was listing this, I was thinking, oh, this might never sell. It's a Mitsubishi HSU 50. But 6 or 7 months later, $15 in my pocket. This is a leather bomber jacket made by Wilson. It's somewhat vintage. I'm not sure exactly how old it is, but I would imagine the 80s or 90s. Pretty good shape. It's got a nice fleece lining that's removable. But what I thought was really cool is that the collar, this fur collar, can be snapped on and off. So you could have sort of a summer or motorcycle type collar. And I've had this for a long time. This has been listed probably for 2 years. I had it priced up there around $170, $80, something like that. And last week I finally decided this has got to go, so I lowered the price to, what did I lower it to? $90. And it sold after a couple days of lowering that price. This is an NFL jersey of a once great running back for the Minnesota Vikings, Adrian Peterson, who is no longer with the team. And it's I've had this since he was with the team and couldn't sell it for the $40 they were going for. He was then traded away a couple of times, and I think he's with Arizona now. And this sold just today, the day after the Vikings' big win over the Saints. I don't know if that's a coincidence or why somebody would want this jersey. I had it priced at $20, and I took the $13 offer I was given on this just to get rid of it. This is a vintage instrument used in the automotive world back in the 50s and 60s. It's a Visgauge, viscosity comparator. Nice little wooden box it comes in. Basically for judging the viscosity of motor oils. See that little ball bearing suspended. And I found this at an estate sale. It's just a couple dollars. It was out in the garage. And it sold for $50. This is a book on building canoes, the Maine Guide canoe type of canoe. Really good shape. And this sold for $30. And this is just a serving tray, but it's a vintage Grand Teton National Park from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Found this at a garage sale for 50 cents. And I thought some of these attractions aren't there anymore, so this must be vintage. And it sold for $25. The model kits continue to sell. 77 Mustang II. It's an open box, but hasn't been assembled yet. And this sold for $50. This is an Italian leather briefcase made in Florence, Italy. Sold by San Lorenzo of California. Got a lot of wear on it. A few ink marks inside. And this sold for $30. I picked up about 3 or 4 briefcases for $2 each at an auction last spring. And they just kind of sat in a box for a while. I finally got around to listing some of them. $30. Is it safe? Is the ice thick? Yeah? Okay. There you go. Come on.